You, yes you, are you sad and depressed because the season of Double Dip is over?
Yes.
Well, we have some great news for you. Playoffs has started up. It's basically the same thing, but less matches.
Playoffs? Oh boy, tell me more.
Well, not only do you get 8 teams fighting each other, you get more than 8 teams. It's 16 teams. That's double the value for the same price.
But I bet it's only like made up of the bottom 4 players of each division.
Ah, that's where you're wrong. It's made up of the best of the best. You have 1st through 4th all fighting each other from every division this season.
Oh my god, take all of my money. Are you... Because I'm still not clear on... Okay.
No, I was just going over.
Welcome, everybody, to Season 8 Playoffs Week 1.
Woo.
We have got 8 whopping matches lined up for you today. But I'm tired. We're only gonna cover half of them, I feel.
Yeah, fair. You know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. But who are you?
I was about to say it, but then you started talking and I didn't want to talk over you. I'm Aurora, the very tired coach of the Hoensbroek Hunters.
And I am Cabral, the not-so-tired coach of the Slinging Aegislashers. And yeah, we'll be going over the, well, it's hard to say. Basically the right side of the playoffs bracket, but not one of the matches because I'm in it.
Yeah, so we have to split the what we're covering a bit awkwardly here. Because all of the replay hosts or recap hosts are in playoffs, so
yeah.
we have to play a little game of hot potato.
Yeah.
But me and Cabral will be covering Wishiwashis versus Mantines, Bellibolts versus Sandslashers, Grassbelly Greninjas versus Hawluchas, and the Gibles versus the Jynx.
Yeah. And essentially, as we had mentioned in the bit, and we mentioned in the regular season videos as well, essentially top 4 make it to playoffs. Whoever's in 1st place fights 4th place of a different division. 2nd place fights 3rd place of another division, and that's roughly how it's broken up. So those are the matches we're covering. If you want to hear the others, stick around to the other part of the video. You'll be able to hear Spoot and Nick come in to cover the other half of playoffs week 1. But that being said, essentially, we're going to be doing this week and then week 2, and then after that, there should be a live stream for playoffs, but we're going to get more into that stuff probably in week 2's video. But first, we got some matches to go over and discuss going into playoffs week 1. Aurora, who is here?
We have got Rayhai, Black Captain of the Martian Mantines versus Chemist of the washed up Wishiwashis.
Yeah.
Not so watched up if you made it to playoffs anyway.
That's so true. And, you know, both of these are playoffs contenders. Black Captain is a frequent week 1 playoffer. Kemeth has made deeper runs, I believe, getting to week 2 and potentially top 4 ones. I don't remember right now, though, off the top of my head, if that's the case.
I will go and check that for you.
Please do. And we see some scary Pokemon from both of them. We see Cramorant coming around for one of the first few times. Otherwise, Black Captain's brought kind of what he's brought most every week. Kind of similar stuff overall. And yeah, I see both of these as very good teams. I don't see much in the way of wiggle room of could they brought different things, maybe some things, but you know, I do see we have a flying type for some coverage against Araquanid at least, because other than that, I see no other real coverage for Araquanid other than Cramorant. Maybe Air Slash with Keldeo, but like, you gotta catch it.
Yeah, Kemeth got 2nd in Season 4. Besides that, he has always been either top 8, and last season he was top 16.
Okay, cool. Nice. But yeah, and then over on Black Captain side, I don't see anything too wild or crazy, really. I mean, Typhlosion, if that Scarf turn 1 with Eruption could be very scary, especially if we see a Rabombi lead for Sticky Webs or something. Slowking Galar's also just generally really, really good.
Yeah, Slowking Galar, it's just so fucking annoying to try and get rid of. And it gets a good slow pivot move as well, and Chilly Reception. Regenerator is always fucking busted.
Yeah. Gotta be careful with that, because doesn't Baxcalibur get Slush Rush? Or is it just the thermo?
I know it gets thermal exchange. Showdown.
I don't know. Does it get Slush Rush? Because that'd be crazy if it did. I could be wrong.
So it's Ice Body.
Ice Body, okay. I mean, I think Thermal Exchange might be a little better. But yeah, either way, I don't know how much more there is to say, though, on these teams. These are both good players. We've seen them perform pretty well during the regular season. And they're both playoffs contenders on a regular basis overall.
Yep, so let's dive right into it.
Cool. Cramorant.
We get a Cramorant lead versus Slowking Galar, which is already a great way of getting nothing done very quickly. We see a Tailwind, so maybe like a supportive Cramorant here, and a Toxic coming out of the slow row.
Man, Surf only doing...
Power Gem showing that like this Cramorant is bulky.
Yeah. Roosting gets some HP back. Okay, well, I mean, toxic damage has been chipping away at this point, so we do have Araquanid coming in, and with a few of these moves already revealed, we don't know, and switching out likely means Cramorant doesn't have a flying move to deal with Araquanid.
Yeah, or at least not one that wants to click like while Snow is active. We do now also have 2 Toxic Pokemon, so Chemith being put on the clock a little bit.
A little bit. Slowking's back in the game, though, expecting probably a fairy move, but Webs is here, so that's fun.
Yeah, the Spadef on this thing is just like so stupid. It like comes in for free on
and more Toxic spread.
Just about anything. Yeah, he's trying to go for it, but we have this Delmise here to try and deal some ghost type damage. A knockoff works too. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, the Araquanid just comes in and takes no damage.
Yeah,
and Chemith, interestingly, switching out of the Delmise and not going for like a Power Whip or something to try and put a dent in this thing. Yeah. And now this thing just like it's just healing up. It's just like regaining its health slowly, and we do actually yeah, I don't know. Like he's struggling a lot with this spider. With Dewpider here.
And not Black Captain not realizing he's faster than Delmise, even with the speed reduction. Substitute Bax is actually kind of scary here if it sets up on this. But we just get a raw Glaive Rush, and honestly, that's probably the right thing to click.
Yeah. Captain just, firing off a bunch of moves. Like, Chemist Steel, like, team for the most part not healing.
Yeah.
Makes this, like, very much a grind, which is in favor of Captain.
Yeah. And that's such a shame there. So we see this low kick set up agility, and I get wanting to be faster than stuff, but I love the sword stance on Slowking, probably expecting a first impression just to be able to hit stuff, but at this point, look at how low we are in health, and it's gone.
Yeah, and the Rocky helmets killing it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, like being the last bits of chip, and then the Soul Cure finishing it off. Kind of surprised not to see Chemith just stick with Leech Life.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's worse into like Typhlosion specifically, but you're faster. You're not worried. At least you shouldn't be.
You also have Tailwind if you wanted to really get that off again. And another thing's been Toxic.
Yeah, Bax getting Toxic here also just it keeps on piling up.
Yeah.
Because everything besides the Keldeo is Toxic now and on a timer and slowly dying.
Yeah, and the Glaive Rush is nice. Iceful Spear coming in actually and just dealing with Arceus. Again, nice momentum, but look how low we are already with no way to heal this thing. We get a Protect here, and we get Glaive Rush to try and hit this instead of potentially switching out to keep Excalibur alive just in case. But at this point, looking at what's left, Keldeo can do a lot of work here. Great crit right there, actually.
Yeah, great crit, but this thing just switches out, and then Chilly Reception.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Regenerator makes it so that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and then this.
And with this thing's whole moveset revealed, it's also clear that Araquanid can just sit in front of Cramorant forever.
Yeah,
because it can't hit it.
I think it's something where maybe hitting that second surf and trying to get another potential crit, taking out Slowking Galar, getting it really low, could have been nice. because it's clear that Keldeo is likely Scarfs or Specs or something like that, because it's only clicking one move. We see 40% there. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, it even had Kemeth like tried to go for like air slash flinches to try and close out the game that way, to just like try and cheese it out. Even then, Toxic just kills him before it happens. Especially if like Rei is like smart enough to like switch out Slowking now and then to get Regenerator health back. Yeah, it is unfortunately just an unwinnable position.
Yeah, but that does mean that Kemeth is now out of playoffs and contention for being the champion, and Black Captain is still marching forward.
Yeah, Black Captain reaching into top 8 now.
Yeah, we'll have to see how top 8 shapes up. We got a few more matches to go through, though. We have Spoopman of the Heerlen Hawluchas versus Madcapster of the Grass Valley Greninjas. We got some Sun versus Sand action. In fact, I see 2 Sand Setters on Spoopman's team to counter the 1 Sun Setter on Madcapster's team.
Vincent being here in the first place feels like an accounting error.
Fair.
Like, someone fucked up these stats. Like, surely this isn't correct, right?
Yeah.
There's been a mistake? Hello? It's correct? What the fuck do you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, Vincent ending up... Was he top of his division? Or did
he was top of the division because he stole
he was top of the
division
from me.
me.
My fucking god. And whose fault is that?
Mostly my fault.
Yeah. Anyway, like Vincent, like top of division, like with this like incredibly sand-focused team that he has brought or built, deciding to bring both of his setters because he realizes that being able to deny Sun from this team kind of important, as well as like giving the
it's crazy
Spadef boost
looking at
to
this
his
team.
rock types.
You know what counters Spoopman's entire team right here?
Bulk up.
I mean, there's that, but yeah, Bulk Up Screamtail does, absolutely. Walking Wake, actually, Hydrocene Dragon Pulse is like, or Draco, kind of runs wild here.
Yep.
I
mean, like, the thing is, like, coverage-wise, it's very easy to prepare for Vincent's team. Like, you just run Fighting move and Ice-type move, and you can super effectively hit his entire team.
It's just a matter of hitting it. Yeah, and I really don't think there's much to say about the team comp. We've seen Madcapster with this exact team 8 other times, other than Phalanx being here. That's neat. That's new-ish.
Yeah. The main thing that I'm like missing here on Madcapster's team is immediate power.
Yeah.
Like we do have Walking Wake and Sandy Shocks. Those have like some decent firepower to start off with. But Torkoal, Screamtail, Venusaur, and Phalanx all need like some kind of setup before they start like actually taking names.
You know, growth in Sun Venusaur does really, really well into a lot of this stuff. With chlorophyll.
You try and keep that Sun active while the Sandstorm rages.
That's so fair. But let's
at least it doesn't. At least it's not like fucking Solar Beam where like it just gets worse in Sand.
Yeah, absolutely. But with that being said, let's go ahead and dive right into this match. We have Gigalith leading, getting some sand up immediately. We see Phalanx, which is really scary.
Yeah, Phalanx is an incredibly like scary Pokemon into Vincent's team.
No retreat turn 1 is insane.
Yeah, goes for knockoff, sees the Rocky Helmets.
Also,
Wandering Spirits.
I just had an immediate thought. We didn't talk about this beforehand. That is a Terra Ice Phalanx. Why not turn 1 Terra click Ice move?
I don't know.
Fair.
Look, there's a lot of things happening here that I'm just like, I wish I knew.
Fair. I do love the balloon coming in.
Like, I'm kind of surprised also not to just see like Terra Ice, or Terra Blast. Maybe Phalanx doesn't get it.
That'd be wild.
Is Phalanx not in Gen 9 by default? It might not be.
I don't know, actually. I have to look.
Let me check if Phalanx gets Terra Blast, because if it doesn't, then the Terra Ice is just pretense.
It could be. Could be just there to scare. Also, this Venusaur is not Mega yet. I'm not sure why.
No, it does get Terra Blast.
No, it is. Okay.
Okay, so then why not click it? Why not just kill the Runrigas?
I do not know.
What are you scared of? You are a +1 literally like poised to one-shot most things.
Yeah. That would have been wild. That would have been crazy to see. I would have loved that. Screen Tail comes in.
Yeah.
We do have a heavy slam nearly kill this thing, though. Down to 1%.
Yep. Decides to go out into Torkoal instead to get the body pressed.
Yeah. And then going right into Sandy Shocks.
Back into Sandy Shocks, and Spoofman was trying to get rid of the sun by blowing up.
Venus was out taking advantage of some chlorophyll. Oh, wait, never mind.
Yeah, Tyrants are immediately like canceling out the.
Yeah. Another nice little crit right there.
Though. I would have loved to see him like go back into Failings there, just to like immediately threaten again.
Yeah.
Because I feel that like the T-Tar switching from Superman is kind of obvious there. Yeah. Also, Scale Shot hitting a cool 5 times, even though this thing is not loaded dice.
Yeah. Crazy. No way he does that again though, right?
Yeah. I mean that would be like quite a low chance. We would never see such a low chance in Double Dip Season 8.
Yeah.
Surely.
Crazy flip turn, by the way. Why not click Hydro Steam to hit whatever comes in? Will-O-Wisp is nice, though. It is nice on the T-Tar. That thing hits pretty hard, so... Screen Tail comes in, though, to be a safe stack. No? Okay. Be immune to Dragon Tail.
Fun. Yeah. Drain Punch, a little bit obvious there, so like Runerigus kind of gets in for free, but you get some leftovers recovery anyway, so you don't mind as much.
Yeah.
But also, like, Runerigus is incredibly physically defensive, so I don't know why we're staying in.
Yeah. You could have gone.
And why aren't we just like going back into like Venusaur?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, cool. We got a Hydro Steam off.
Cool.
Back into T-Tar.
We click Hydro Steam.
Do we have like a low kick or something to try and take care of this? No, Hydro Steam.
Yeah. I mean, it's not doing much to you, at least physically. So.
Yeah, the fact that it's burn is helping a lot here.
Wow, that did 46 resisted? That's crazy. Imagine that boosted in Sun. Oh, well.
Might be choiced, actually.
Could be choiced. Choice what? Specs?
I feel that's too low into T-Tar for that. Though maybe this T-Tar is like Assault Vest.
Maybe. But at this point,
it dies to the Sand, though. Unfortunately, though, with Torkoal dead and no more Sun from Madcapster, this Dracozolt is here to clean up the game.
Yep. And it just quickly and easily sweeps away the rest of these Pokemon here.
Yeah.
There's the Terra Ice.
Yeah, there's the Terra Ice. Hello, Failings. I'm glad that you did nothing.
Yeah, I'm surprised. The Phalanx lead I actually really like a lot the more I kind of think about it. If we had Terra Blast with Terra Ice turn 1, would that have killed Runerigus? I don't know the calc on that, but at +1?
I mean, so like Knockoff is super effective. It's 95 base power, and it did like just over half its health. Terra Blast is 80 base power, but it would be stat and also super effective, so it basically is 120 base power. Super effective. So if anything, it does more.
Yeah.
So I don't know why Madcapster switched out of the Phalanx.
Yeah.
Did he have a Sketch Shell to make that work, by the way? Is that how he switched out, even though no retreat was active?
That might be the case. I don't know.
Can you hover over it?
Can I?
How did he get out of his own?
Oh, he had his battle armor swapped out. I don't know if it would make a difference. So...
No, that doesn't change anything. Like Wandering Spirit doesn't matter.
No, never mind.
I don't know how he switched out of his.
Might have been Shed Tail, but I'm not.
I thought like Shed Skin like notes it in chat when it gets used.
Or Shed Skin, yeah, sorry, not Shed Tail, my bad. Sorry, I have a Pokemon with Shed Tail, so therefore I kept saying Shed Tail.
It's a good move.
It is good. Either way, that means Poopman moves on to top 8. Madcapster is out, but for a first season, getting to playoffs, congratulations. That's always a really big, cool thing to do.
Yeah, getting into playoffs, no small feat.
Well, we got 2 more matches to go over.
We have got Menma of the Minnesota Jynx versus Shamal of the Golden Gate Gibles.
Yeah.
Gibles, as some people pronounce it for some reason.
We do have Morgrim showing up for the first time, and I did not realize how much bigger it was than Hitmontop. And Melmetal.
Yeah, I mean, Hitmontop's is really small. Actually, like, this perspective makes Melmetal look really small.
He's so tiny, look at him. He's itty bitty. People see it in a bit.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Shamal seems fucking huge, even though it's supposed to be the one that's further away.
Ah, that's crazy. They're like giants. I love Melmetal looking up to the giant bridge or the giant fish. People will be able to see this before we start the matchup. But anyways, I do like seeing Enamorous here. I think that's actually a pretty fun Pokemon. It's faster than most stuff on Shamal's team, other than like Tornadus and the fish. So maybe it's not even that fast.
Yeah, I am kind of sad because that Enamorous could be an Iron Valiant, and if it was an Iron Valiant, oh boy.
Oh my gosh, that would be that would have been wild, actually.
Yeah, I understand like the friendship perhaps, but I do feel that like Mass and Menma trading did make Menma seem objectively worse.
I do like Hitmontop into most of this team. Triple Axle, Mach Punch, Close Combat. It's got some really good move selection. It does a lot of damage to most of these Pokemon.
Yeah, it's got some good options, like, and as well as like the ability to try and stop something that's like too fast in the rain from sweeping everything.
Yeah.
And having Mach Punch is always good to deal with King Gambit.
Oh, absolutely.
Because surely King Gambit won't be the last thing over at the end and get victory all on its own, right?
I see most of this team, and I see like, Roaring Moon there. That thing gets Flamethrower or even Close Combat or even Earthquake and stuff to hit King Gambit with before it can kill it back.
Yeah, and also like resist Sucker Punch.
Yeah,
do its own dark typing.
Yeah, so there's ways to do that.
There's so many options here to deal with it. Anyway, let's see how he deals with it. I'm so curious.
4 Grim lead, okay. Maybe we're gonna set up screens or something. We do see the bird go away immediately. Set up rain, okay. You're gonna get Barrascuda to come out, take advantage, and do some early sweeping. U-turn, okay, cool.
U-turn into back into the bird that popped out before.
Okay, parting shot away into Melmetal, and then defog. Okay, so screens and swapping are okay. Nothing's happened.
The first 3 turns of this fight are just useless.
Yeah.
I guess it just means that Shamal gets to start with rain. That's the only thing that happened.
Yeah. I like seeing Melmetal.
Yeah, we see a crazy fucking back and forth here though. Electroshot.
Yep.
Into what berry? What's the berry called? A Maranga berry.
Yeah, Maranga berry. Which is wild.
And so like a second Electroshot doesn't actually kill, except it does when it crits, just like the crit on the fucking like first body press there.
Back-to-back crits.
So if that exchange plays out fairly, it basically just goes on for 1 extra turn, and that's it.
I'm a little surprised to get Flip Turn immediately. I know that Liquidation would have done more damage. I know Rain's almost over, but you're still faster and can Flip Turn after the Rain ends, at least. Getting a good Liquidation off.
And you don't want to get like... The thing, like, Petron's just so defensively bulky that it just kind of like recovers off the damage you deal. It doesn't really give a shit.
True. Pelipper comes in here. We get a Close Combat. Bold to click that, but I guess, he would not have died to a Sucker Punch at that point.
I am sad not to see like a Thunder Punch or like some kind of electric coverage coming out of this Hitmontop.
Yeah. What about
Weather Ball's just deleting Morgrim. Woof.
Yeah. Moon is a really fun bring here. I'm a little surprised that Petulant didn't come out into this Grass Water type with like Malignant Chain or something, but
because it's physical defensive, not special defensive, and this thing answers it perfectly fine. Though it does take a Nice Beam, and a Superpower from this thing finishes it off.
Superpower is a wild thing with this bird.
Superpower is wild, and Shamal has definitely prepared this King Gambit to sort of like be the answer to Petulant.
Yeah.
We've already seen a substitute as well.
Yeah. And we get an immediate substitute again. We are parting shotted though, and at this point, we get a Katao Cleave, and it's like, okay, we're down, but we could just click Mach Punch again. There we go.
Yep, clicks Mach Punch again. It doesn't do much.
Yeah.
Into Tornadus. Tornadus knocks off the Black Sludge here. I don't know, like, there isn't much happening, but we have sort of like reached the point where like, what does... Because like this Petulant is functionally useless so long as King Gambit lives.
Yeah, because once it's gone, it does really well into the rest of what's here. And
speaking of winning the game, by the way, like here is Barraskewda who opts not to click liquidation. It's homesick. Okay, look, it's got a family to attend to. It still needs to do like laundry. The dishes were still not done when it got home, and I got mad about that.
With Barraskewda and the rain being like topped off completely, liquidation runs through the entire team here. Actually, with Petra on lower on health, it would have just killed everything.
Yeah, we do see that this Enamor is like it's starting to super power up, and it's starting to like actually like get some momentum going here.
Yeah.
So surely we click like a superpower here.
Yeah.
Liquidation hurts like fuck, but
yeah, Barraskewda is now gone. Again, Barraskewda had the opportunity to sweep the rest of the team earlier.
Yeah.
We got to switch out.
And now the game is up. The game's over because this Petron cannot touch King Gambit. Okay, it can Destiny Bond it, sure, but like afterwards it'll just be a case of Tornadus comes in and kills the Admirals afterwards.
Yeah.
So like we don't need. He doesn't even need to be like differential doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Whether it's 6-0 or 0-0, you move on to the next round if you just make it to the end.
Yeah. So.
But no, we are sitting here. We are clicking low kick into a Petron.
Yeah, because at this point, Tornadus is faster than Enamorus. You can Kutao Cleave. It doesn't matter if you get Destiny Bonded. You still win.
Yeah, the thing is, like, he can't even just like spam Parting Shot to like lower this thing's attack because the second you do, you swap out into Enamorus, you get low kicked and you die.
Yeah.
And Shamal is fully aware that like a low kick even like after a Parting Shot will kill Enamorus, and is more than happy to just sit here and click it.
Yep. I mean, even
as
then,
long as it needs to.
Kutao Cleave right now.
And it does poke out its head for like just a fucking moment, but.
And then Enamorus comes back in, and then we get another low kick, and that dies. And again, it's like. You just have to keep clicking Kutao Cleave right now.
Yeah, and now you just spam Kutao Cleave because the game's over.
Yeah.
You do not need to worry anymore. Like, even if you die to a Destiny Bond, like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, exactly.
And Lord have mercy, the crit makes it so that this game ends sooner.
Yeah. Yeah, and Shamal gets to, his first time in playoffs with double dip, gets to go on to round 2. And I'm excited to see where things go from there. Menma making it pretty far in his division overall, and finally his run's coming to an end. That's it for this season for Menma, but Shamal gets to move on.
That was his first time in playoffs, discounting extra cheesy.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yes.
Yeah, so, made the most of it, had a very strong team with Roaring Moon and Iron Valiant, and then after Iron Valiant left, things went downhill.
Yep. But yeah, well, we got one match left. One final one. One big important match. We've got Spood, coach of the Southtown Sandslashers, versus White Loaf of the Bayou Bellibolts. Crazy that Nick and Spood had to fight each other to host at each other's throats. What a tragedy.
Yeah, we have a classic case of double dip host infighting here. Fun fact, had I beaten Bananas, we would have had both hosts fighting each other, or all 4 hosts rather. Because then it would have been me, Cabral, and Nick versus Spood, but that's not how it turned out. I ate shit, and now I'm on the other side of the bracket instead.
Hey, me too. Looking into the makeups of the teams. One, why are all of Spood's Terror types electric types?
Maybe he thinks it's funny.
You know what? It is funny. I like it. 2, I love seeing Ice Electro here. I think that does really well. Bolt switching around other than Garchomp. But again, if you tear Ice, you kill that thing.
Yeah, it just kind of like volt switches around for free. I don't think you kill Garchomp like outright. Garchomp is very bulky. It's very.
True.
It can like lift like very surprising hits sometimes.
Yeah.
But like a Terra boosted ice, like Terra? I don't know.
We have to find out.
We'll see. But yeah, aside from that, we also have a horse here who can Terra into a dragon.
Yep.
Should Nick so choose.
True.
Meanwhile, Spood also has his Terra captains here.
True. Acropora Valis, the little Corsola Galarian Corsola is water, and then Vespiqueen's Fairy, both of which are solid typings, actually. I think Corsola is water type. Looking at this team, once Electrode and Shiftry are dealt with, fairly solid with water typing. Especially deal with her.
True. It also like forces like 50-50s from Nick's end. Like if this Corsola is staying a ghost type, he doesn't want to click a fighting type move with Urshifu.
Yep.
But if it's gonna tear into a water type, then Surging Strikes only does half.
Yeah.
Which is also bad.
Mm-hmm. I actually really like the Shiftry you bring here. Wind Rider is really fun. Knockoff is great into majority of Spood's team here. And it gets Trailblaze, it gets Sucker Punch, it gets some really good stuff just to, clean up little things here and there on Spood's team.
Yeah, Grafire really endeared itself to Spood a lot. It's here again.
Little dude, I like it.
It is a fun little dude, and I'm glad to see it do well and be put in good hands.
Yeah, but it's always a shame to look at your host across the way and be like, one of us has to go on, one of us can't, and we got to tell this love story as it is between these two. Let's go ahead and watch this fight. We do have Jerry lead, which makes sense. We get an immediate poison jab doing 70%.
It's like me being toxic to my mother.
Poison jab still doing a lot here. I'm a little surprised that we don't see a parting shot right there. Might be a more offensive Grafire.
Yeah. Also, Nick opting for just the raw no Terra Blast.
Yeah.
Which is a interesting proposition.
Mm-hmm. Not 100% sure why. Maybe expecting Garchomp, maybe wanting to scout.
Things like if you're expecting Garchomp to switch, and then surely then you Terra Blast.
Well, maybe he.
So I don't know what he's trying to hit with it.
Fire Blast missing, which is it is what it is. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, Fire Blast doesn't do too much into Tinglu. This thing is bulky on both sides of the spectrum, which is crazy.
Yeah. We get a Boots B, though. Ruination coming in, doing half of its health immediately, though. Sure, just dying to everything you can die to.
Yeah, the hazards on Nick's side of the field are stacking up now, though, because we got both Rocks and the Toxic Spike.
Yeah.
So, anything without boosts coming in is not having a good time. And that Moonblast killing, honestly, Vespiqueen has a decent amount of, 140 in both defenses?
Yeah. I'm wondering there if we Aqua Jetted into Florges and then switched out, if we could have done a little bit of damage that way.
Yeah, it's surprised not to see, some kind of, Aqua Jets or Flip Turn or, something coming out of Palafin just to deal, the last little bit of damage.
Yeah.
Maybe fearing it being scarfed?
We do also lose the Corsola. I'm a little surprised we didn't see Terra Water to try and maybe live that. I don't know the rules. I think you calced it a little earlier. There's a chance of living, but I don't remember.
Yeah, also, we see, after Future Sight's being used, we see in the top left a Future Sight timer on Showdown now, which I'm pretty sure is new.
It is new. Again, I remember seeing it on occasion. So I was doing scrims. I would see it once or twice, and then it went away, and I didn't think of it. And then it would come back, and it'd be there. Sometimes it wasn't. I'm like, is this new?
As someone who habitually skips animation, Future Sight is one of those fucking moves that I just always forget about. And then either I just suddenly don't see my Pokemon anymore, or I take a little bit more damage than I was expecting to, and I was like, oh, okay.
It's amazing it took this long for that to become a thing. At this point, though,
a lot of other things are.
We've lost a lot of momentum on the next part. We do still have Palafin here, and it does a lot of damage. We do have a lot of chip and stuff going off on Nick's side as well. We do have a switch here. I'm a little surprised we didn't stay in with Palafin to try and hit this with the close combat or just hit it really hard. Maybe wanting a bit of toxic chip to try and get some of that extra damage off, but...
Yeah, Spood was, I'm pretty sure, considering going for the Zen Headbutt there. the thing is like that, like doing that is a risky play if this thing is choice, because the other two Pokemon are Dark types.
Yeah.
And if he gets that read wrong, then the game just kind of ends immediately.
Yeah. So, but the match is over. We have White Loaf going on to playoffs. And we have Spood, whose run is ending here. But yeah.
Really, like, a good match between two very good players.
Yeah.
Played like Titans. You know what this makes me wonder?
What? What does it make you wonder?
If they were here right now, what would they have to say about these matches?
Oh, maybe if we put our minds to it, we could imagine them here.
You have to get everybody in the audience to like summon along with us.
Everyone, close your eyes and say, "I wish Spood and Nick were here. I wish Spood and Nick were here."
Shoo-a-dee-doo, shoo-a-dee-doo.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine what this video would be like if Spood and White Loaf were commentating it instead?
Thankfully, you don't have to imagine it.
Oh my god! Unless you're actually just imagining it very vividly right now, in which case you're doing a great job and continue to do that. Welcome!
I'm in your head, I'm in your head, I'm in your head,
I'm in your head, I'm in your head, I'm in your walls, I'm in your walls. Welcome to part 2 of week 1 of playoffs. Woohoo! Double dip playoffs. Dude, playoff season always exciting, always crazy. A lot of high emotions. You know?
Very high stakes.
Very high stakes, that's true. This is the most concretely, like, you're out, right? Like, if you lose, there is no longer, I can make it up later, or, oh, my seed is worse, but at least I'm still playing. Like, it's over if you're not winning games in playoffs. And as you've seen in the first 4 matches, it has been pretty explosive. We have had some pretty unique pairings this early on. We have some pretty exciting ones to talk about on this half of the bracket, and we're going to go ahead and start with Scoots of Portland Palafins versus Milo of the Canadian Clod Squad. I don't think Milo was projected to advance out of Skull by initial seeding, but ended up having a really solid season. Definitely, I know he's been grinding it really hard.
Yeah, no, he has been doing a lot of scrimming. I also don't think he was projected. Hold on, let me take a note. No, he was not projected, but he has been playing like really hard. He's been playing like rather well. And he's got a lot of like really threatening Pokemon, like Great Tusk. Like Great Tusk alone is a name that puts fear in everyone's hearts.
Yeah. Landorus who?
Yeah. Who cares about Landorus? My Great Tusk has Ice Spinner. For some odd reason.
That's true. Gone are the days of running Hail, Weather Ball, Landorus just to get ice coverage. Now we're living in the future. However,
we're living in the past.
As well as Milo's run went, he did unfortunately make it out of Skull in 4th place, which means he is up against 1st place out of a different division, and there is no more 1st place a player than Scoots33, especially with IDM sitting this season out. Scoots has looked unstoppable. Another flawless record, even better diff than last time. I mean, we're getting to the point where for Scoots to have a better season, he would just have to 6-0 all of his opponents.
Yeah, which, I mean, to be fair, he came close for a lot of them, but most of them were like 5-0s.
I think he averaged to like a 4-0 or something this season across every single game, and he didn't lose at all. So Scoots looks absolutely unstoppable. I think the one thing going for Milo from like a player skill versus player skill perspective is Scoots does have kind of a weird habit of just like randomly losing round 1 of playoffs. So we don't see as many deep runs from Scoots as maybe you would expect. But you definitely can't just bank on the Scoots playoffs curse to get you through this. You're going to have to game like you've never gamed before.
Yeah, especially this time around where Scoots just has so many like threatening Pokemon, like Regieleki, like the perfect speed control Pokemon, Ferrothorn, great physical wall, Clefable, always a guessing game on whether it's Unaware or Magic Guard, and that's something that we do have to play in this match right now. Looking at this team, like if it's Unaware, then Clefable can just kind of sit in front of basically the entirety of Milo's team. Whereas if it's Magic Guard, it, if Milo gets like a good setup, like if Armor Rouge has 80 like weakness policy, like endure weak armor shenanigans, that can do a lot of serious damage. I think even to Latias, I think it does get Shadow Ball, but like even then, like then it suffers 4 move slot syndrome.
Yeah, and not to mention, like Dragon Dance Mega Aerodactyl can be very threatening. Even like if you've got momentum and you start setting up like a Calm Mind Raikou, like obviously you don't want to be stuck in the Calm Mind pissing contest with Clefable because you will lose that eventually, but there is still like some vulnerability from Clefable if it's not running unaware. And so basically the dynamic looking at Clefable is if it is Magic Guard, then you want to try and find a setup sweep. If it is unaware, then basically you just want to be switching in Toxapex every time and trying to bully it with, knock off Toxic, Poison Spike, Toxic Spikes, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the dynamic. I think that's pretty much all there is to say. I mean, we're not even going to acknowledge the dancing bird in the room, which has, been kind of reaping the entire division like a field of beautiful corn.
You know what's also really funny? I'm just not noticing this. You mentioned this earlier when we were taking our notes. You finally get to commentate a Milo match because he's been in your division. I get to also finally commentate a Scoots match.
True. Outside looking in, it's kind of fun. You're getting to hear different people commentating different stuff. Magma Squad watching something where there's no Magma players.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and see exactly how this goes.
Mm-hmm.
Clefable is a pretty reliable lead. You definitely are not necessarily risking anything in front of Raikou, particularly, like specifically, but, again, depending on the set, like, we don't know.
Yeah. And, knockoff very free. We do see that soft sand, so odds are, the main goal here is a click headlong rush, which, honestly, not 100% certain why we didn't click it. I mean, I know why. We have Oricorio in the back, we have Latias in the back, but at the end of the day, like, I think getting that early momentum, that early damage, especially like since Scoots went on to Ferrothorn, it would have actually been a lot better, especially because we do low roll.
Right. So basically, let's go ahead and talk about this just to make sure that we really, dig into it. Earlier, we saw that, like you say, instead of going for like a headlong rush on the switch, he goes for a heavy slam. He doesn't want to risk, again, just like, random Clefable Moonblast or something. And he ends up hitting heavy slam into close combat, and it just, that natural focus sash, you see Ferrothorn living it and then getting leftovers recovery. Now, it is notable that is a very low roll. Back to back, that's a very low roll on heavy slam, that's a very low roll on close combat. It should be noted that, in my professional opinion, it was a bit early to go for that. Like, if you were anticipating, say, like a Power Whip or something, it may have been better to go into something like Klefki or even Toxapex with like a helmet or something, just so that you can scout and see what the set is, because, you don't know that it doesn't have, like, I don't know, it could have had like a Choppleberry or something. I guess you've already seen the leftovers at that point, but
I was saying, like, after the heavy slam, yeah.
Yeah, after the heavy slam there's that. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, if you don't have to risk that if you're going for like the headlong rush, even without the soft sand, or, you don't know that it's necessarily like max defense at that point because like the damage is so small off the heavy slam. So it's tough. That's definitely unfortunate for Milo. But I think that's kind of the risk you take, where if it's not a guaranteed kill, you are rolling that 10% best case scenario, and many other times there will be like some kind of item or set consideration in play that will affect that turn.
Yeah. Also, that was actually kind of a risky switch from Scoots because, like, if Milo predicted that switch, he actually could have set up a Dragon Dance, and from there, I don't know if Regieleki outspeeds a +1 Mega Aerodactyl. I'm going to assume.
Certainly
I'm going to assume it doesn't. But I've seen crazier things, I suppose.
Yeah. So it's tough. right now, especially, I mean, Clefable dodging that Thunder Wave is very annoying as well for Milo. The RNG is not doing him any favors here. And Scoots just with all the right sets. I mean, that was max full-on defensive Ferrothorn earlier, which it needed to be to survive that. And now we're seeing, you know, that Brick Break consideration for Scream's Klefki. And this is just like the one unfortunate capped mistake where like he does hard sack Raikou here instead of sacking something like this Armarouge, because Raikou at least outspeeds this and could maybe Thunder Wave it and get some paralysis going, but instead he opts to sack Raikou, and then it ends up, spoiler alert, just doing this.
Yep. Just getting a lot of attack, and being able to Earthquake, everything.
Yep. So, it's definitely unfortunate, because I think Milo did a lot of prep. I know he was working hard for this, and again, you know, it is not to be understated that, you know, Milo did get the short end of the stick in terms of the RNG. But it's definitely worth considering, like, you know, Scoots had so many tools still available in the back, and ultimately the things that were living or were getting around, like, I mean, we didn't even see Oricorio, we saw very little out of Regieleki. You know, Mega Latios still in play, even though it was at low HP, it's faster than so much of the stuff on this team, including, like, Proto Attack, Great Tusk.
Yeah.
I don't think any single instance was impossible for Milo to overcome, but I also don't think any single instance was the thing that sealed his fate.
Yeah, I agree.
So, very unfortunate. I mean, that's a great run out of Milo. We love that. You know, Scoots, again, just showing why he's that guy.
Yep. But on to our next match. We have Aurora, coach of the Hoensbroek Haunters, versus Claire, coach of the Maryland Manectrics. Regulars in our playoffs.
Yeah, this is not a round one match. Just straight up, this should have happened later. But, you know, why don't you explain why we're seeing this so early?
So we're seeing this so early because Aurora did get 4th in the Rocket division. So they are at the bottom of their division, whereas Claire got 1st in Skull, barely getting that extra bit of death and that 1 win. So because of that, these two are going to be pitted against each other round 1, which means what, you know, could be seen as like a semifinals or even like a grand finals match, honestly, is now a round 1.
Yeah, I mean, depending on whether you count off seasons or not, like, we are literally looking at 2 champions facing each other down in a 16-player bracket immediately, so it's kind of unfortunate that the outcome of Rocket being so narrow and so difficult, and for Aurora squeaking out in 4th, that's also a punishment for Claire, who normally, you know, would be like, oh, I'm fighting 4th out of Rocket, that should be a much more manageable match by seed, but nope, you got Aurora round 1, so good luck.
Rocket was such a fuck division.
I loved Rocket. I mean, it was very stressful to play it, I'm sure, but you know.
I got stressed out watching those matches.
They were, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a division, maybe since like Pearl Division or something. Like, it's been a while since there was a division that was that scrappy and intense and tight, and we're now seeing the knock-on effect of that in playoffs, where we're seeing, again, Aurora versus Claire right off the bat. And what's interesting is not only is this kind of a polarizing matchup in the sense that there are 2 very strong players, but when we're looking at team preview, Claire's team looks like a lot of kind of specialized walls, and Aurora's team looks like a lot of wall breakers.
Yes. So, you know, Avalug, especially with Terra, loves to just sit in front of something like Swampert or Pangoro, but the second it sees Naganadel or
hell, even Jellicent.
Even Jellicent, it's like I'm out of here. You know, conversely, you know, Lantern, you know, it loves to sit in front of something like Jellicent, even Naganadel to some extent, though it doesn't have the best recovery. And then Alolan Muck, you know, again, loves Naganadel, Jellicent, but then it hates to see something like Mega Mawile or Pangoro again or Swampert again.
Yep. So it's really dependent. I think looking at team preview, my initial thought is Aurora looks a little bit more in control of the tempo. Like, she's going to be putting off the sort of offensive pressure, it's going to be up to Claire to have the right defensive answer in. So to that end, I think Claire's going to want to force a lot of switches. She's going to want to get, early hazards up. And I mean, she's got Meg Cargo, so Macargo Room, like, if it can set up a Shell Smash late enough into the game, I mean, I could see it, especially with Terra Grass being pretty decent. You just got to make sure that, like, Mawile's out of the picture, or you're 100% sure you can outplay the Sucker Punch. And also the Bullet Punch for Pangoro could be kind of dangerous into a weak armor. But, I think it's going to be a little tough on Claire, whereas I could just as easily see Aurora, losing one specific game piece, and then suddenly she's got 5 Pokemon that lose to, like, Avalugg or something,
Yeah, absolutely.
So, let's go ahead and see how this one panned out. We see, again, no early Mega from Claire to keep the Diancie looking thick.
I've been saying during our recaps that Claire, likes to show that Mega Diancie is her favorite sack Pokemon.
Rude. Yeah, Mega Diancie, she's pretty choosy with it. She does a lot of bulk with Diancie instead of doing that kind of aggro Diancie stuff. Also, you see that huge dodge there. Basically, Aurora calling out that Hydrapple's going to stay in, kills it with an Ice Beam. Then Muck dodges the burn and gets a pretty juicy knockoff.
Yeah, it's very, very clean from Claire.
Yeah. And this is not really the outcome that Claire is looking for here. Quake doing just so little as well.
Yeah, that's Avalugg.
Yep. Claire doubles back out into this, expecting a switch, although I guess she would just kind of be inviting in like a flip turn or something. She ends up getting Scald Burned and then kind of having to concede, like, okay, whatever, you can Earthquake this. But this time she does get the flip turn that she says in chat that she was kind of hoping for this exact interaction to play out. And she gets that very strong early weak armor into Shell Smash, and now she's insanely fast, insanely strong, insanely dead.
Yeah.
That's Naganadel. I mean, it was a very specially defensive Naganadel. Even an Earth Power wasn't going to reliably kill that. But that's tough for Claire, because that's a really important game piece, and we're already seeing now down 3-6 and missing defensive answers to some of Aurora's stuff.
Yeah, we were mentioning earlier how, like, if Aurora loses like one critical piece, then she can be in trouble against like breaking specific walls. But that's the same, like, conversely, like, if Claire loses those important walls, like, obviously a burned Mega Mawile isn't going to be able to do much, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Especially with Avalugg in the back. But at the same time, like, look how free Naganadel looks right now.
Yeah. She knocks off the Covert Cloak, which is funny. Claire said that she brought that because she was anticipating Knackle Stack. What is less funny if you're Claire is the second you lose your Covert Cloak, you get flinched.
Yeah.
And then you get flinched.
Flinched again.
And then you get flinched. Oh my god, 3 in a row! No! The fact that went from a 0% chance of happening with Covert Cloak to Aurora knocking that off and getting all 3 flinches, that's tragic, but it is kind of so funny that it's like, it's absurd, right?
Yeah, it is insane.
I don't think ultimately it affected the outcome of the match in like a meaningful way. Obviously, Aurora was just kind of trying to keep the Sturdy from being active to the best of her ability, so that she could then get in something like Naganadel that could then just clean it up on the special side. But yeah, that, there's not much counterplay to getting flinched 3 times in a row by Ironhead. I mean, after a certain point, you're just kind of like, well.
Yep. Yeah, unfortunately, Pokemon Showdown decided that, like, actually, I want you to lose to Mega Mawile. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Finchnader logged on and was like, I don't fuck with Claire. Maryland Manectrics is not my favorite team, so we're going to inflict a couple of Ironhead flinches. And it's definitely unfortunate, because even in that scenario, had she not done Terra Grass on the Midcargo when she did, that she would have had Terra Steel on Avalugg, which could have made it a little bit more resilient into the burn Mawile. The Ironheads would have been doing pretty negligible damage, so you could get flinched a lot and still be able to recover it off. But like we say, that's kind of a moot point because the flip turn probably just straight up kills Magcargo without Terragrass anyway.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
It's just kind of unfortunate. Aurora getting definitely some help, but kind of like in the last match, I don't think there was any one moment where like the RNG swung so out of line that it made a possible situation impossible, or an impossible situation possible.
Yeah, and we do see also like even there like in the very end that Leavanny, actually I don't know, does it actually outspeed?
No, it doesn't. It's Scarf.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, we do see that it is Scarf, which with that like Leaf Blade, like with how low Avalugg could have been at that point. Although I guess it could have actually recovered in the last one. So never mind. You know what? I'll show my mouth.
Well,
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Like we said, having Naganadel still doing fine, Pangoro still doing fine, Scarf Leavanny still in play for Mega Diancie. Aurora still had all the pieces, and just like that, Claire out so early comparing to, where we would have expected her to land. That's the top out of Skull just gone.
Yep.
So I believe that is our final Skull player from this round 1 compared to like what you guys have already seen. So you'll know that the Golden Gate Gibles holding it down for Skull, the only one that made it through week 1. At least we got one.
We got one.
We got one. Now let's look at some other non-Skull players, huh? We have got Matropic of the Bekasi Bisharps versus Bick of the Blood Moon Bears. A lot of B's, firstly, in the team names in this game. I like that.
Yeah.
Secondly, now this is something we recognize. We've been watching Matropic out of Magma. That's the stuff that we've been covering. So I can tell you with confidence that this Altaria will have Fire Spin. I do know that.
Yep, I can also tell you that most likely it's one of its other moves will be Perish Song.
That'd be nice, although he hasn't been running Perish Song too much. I know he wasn't running it against Kenneth. He was running this kind of Cotton Guard, like Roost, sort of Sub-Toxic, I think is what it was.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that.
So it's not necessarily guaranteed to have, what do you call it, Perish Song, but certainly, I mean, looking at this team, it doesn't feel like you're going to need it against anything that's not called Diancie. And I guess Iron Hands sometimes is going to be just that bulky.
Yeah.
Because we see Bick, Bick loves his berries. Bick loves citrus berries, Bick loves citrus berries, and Bick loves citrus berries, and he loves big fat Pokemon that, Terra and live forever. So we see that out of Diancie. Obviously, Iron Hands can't Terra, but that thing just never dies. It's got like 140 base HP or something stupid.
Yeah, it's insane.
Obviously, Terrapagos has Terra Shell, so unless you're Life Orb, Dragon Dance, Proto Attack, Gouging Fire, Flare Blitz, you're probably not killing it in one shot.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the lay of the land. We're seeing pretty standard lineups from both players. I think into this team, I like, a Quiver Danced Volcarona looks like really, really threatening, between like Fire, Grass, and, I don't know, Bug coverage for Mesprit. Like, that looks really great.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just like keeping like Fire and like Bug Buzz, like that alone hits a lot of this team. And then, Giga Drain just to be able to hit Diancie at least before it Terras.
Right. And, I mean, genuinely, it looks like Metropic's team is somewhat aggro, minus the Aggron, ironically, But Aggron does look like it resists this team pretty well. Like, you're gonna have to basically get a lot of Sword Stances off if you want your Iron Hands to be able to handle it without getting Earthquake to death. And, even if that ends up happening, like, again, Altaria actually matches up pretty decently into Iron Hands.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. And then, Meowscarada, I mean, like, it looks like it can U-turn a lot, just kind of be annoying, like, Chip.
But also, if it's not pads, though, like, it's risking getting Flame Bodied from Volcarona if it does that.
Ooh, I forgot about Flame Body, actually. You're right. You're so right.
Also consider that Fezandipity actually matches up pretty decently into Meowscarada. Like, I think there are some moves, some sets, like Umbrodeon, that you can do that will be okay. But for the most part, I mean, just being able to resist both Dark and Grass Stab and being able to kind of not care too much about, Flower Trick crits. Fezandipity looks good.
Pheasant Deputy does look really good. Yeah, there's not a whole lot else to say about this team. I mean, like, Mesprit, probably just going to, like, set up rocks, T-Wave, if anything.
Right, Diancie gets comfortable defensively. I mean, you know, Big's got a pretty sturdy team. Metropic's got a more balanced-looking, kind of leaning towards offensive team. Let's see who takes it.
Yep.
That is
really not wanting to...
Yeah.
Not want to take U-turn immediately.
Yep. Meowscarada lead to pretty standard. We don't see any proc from the Flame Body, but we do just immediately see this thing just goes for the Earthquake and gets it.
Yep. Which I can't really blame it. And then going for immediately a Shell Smash and Terra, and then...
Whoops.
Mirror?
Yeah,
wait a second.
So this is a pretty brave Shell Smash to do it this early on Torterra. And Vic actually just has the counterplay immediately on deck with Stored Power, Encore, Mirror Herb.
Yep, and then we do opt to go for a Fire Spin.
Yep. Don't see the Perish Song, or even a Toxic, which would have been somewhat helpful. And then, at least this thing has shown Dragon Tail in the past, but even that phase attempt is just taken away on the 10% miss.
Yep. We do wind up going for rest, and unfortunately get encored into it, so we can't sleep talk.
Yep. And forced to switch out. Mouthhold does not handle the stored power. I mean, we're not seeing any sashes on this team. And at least from this position, you can get a sleep talk, but he does not get the sleep talk Dragon Tail. And then he wakes up and hits sleep talk again, which, again, I think at that point you're just kind of scrambling for, like, what button do I even hit where I don't just lose to this?
Yep.
And since we already saw earlier that this thing does outrun the Torterra, then obviously you can't even Shell Smash again because you're just going to get encored. So, yeah, all that analysis and Mesprit, the thing we barely looked at, was actually just the sweeper in the back the whole time. And yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense. You know, Shell Smash is pretty threatening. Torterra looks pretty decent into this team. So having a counter to it is definitely nice. And I think maybe had Metropic waited until a bit later in the match had done, again, you know, kind of that requisite scouting we were talking about earlier, maybe we could have seen Mesprit chipped to the extent that it didn't do that much damage. But, I mean, even though the Dragon Tail miss was really bad and really mattered, it was also just kind of stopping the bleeding at that point. Like, you're down 3-6, and Big still has so many bulky things, and you've already had to give up so much of your positioning just to get this out, that
yeah.
I think, I mean, it wouldn't have been a 6-0, I don't think, but that was going to be a very difficult mountain to overcome.
It would have been a huge uphill battle. And, you know, there definitely would have had to be at least some miracles at that point. Again, not to say that like it's impossible, but like it's a really hard place to come back from. Yeah.
So that's kind of tough, you know. That's unfortunate for Metropic. You know, he got out decently placed. I believe he was third out of Magma, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And then we end up seeing him fall to second out of Aqua, and Big looking pretty strong. I mean, honestly, you know, he only lost to Scoots in Division, and with a performance like that out of round 1 of playoffs, I think Big is somebody you seriously have to be paying attention to going into this top 8, and then maybe even in the top 4.
Yeah, absolutely. But now it is time for our final match of this week, which is Cabral, coach of the Slinging Aegislashers, versus Bananas, coach of the Don't Drop That Dedennes.
Let's go! Cabral being obviously we didn't mention it earlier, but, you know, Aurora being somebody you've heard in this video, and also Cabral, the other person you've heard in this video, getting their round 1 matches in, and this is a pretty tough one. We're seeing, I believe Cabral was 4th? Yeah, he was 4th out of Magma.
Yep,
he just
4th out of Magma.
Barely scraped by, you know, it was looking like he was going to lose the spot to Anchor up until the very end. But Bananas, you know, conversely kind of had the opposite story, where Cabral started sort of falling down the leaderboard towards the latter half of the season. We saw Bananas just taking win after win after win. And after beating Aurora, landing in first place, that puts him positioned pretty well to fight Cabral. But I think this is kind of an interesting match, and the matchup looks weird. Cabral's team looks weird, doesn't it?
It looks weird. Yeah, you don't see a lot of very like strong assuming Pokemon. I mean, obviously Speed Boost Blaziken, that is a terrifying Pokemon. But honestly, looking at it into Bananas, like I aside from like Aegislash, I don't see anything that it threatens too much. At least not without like getting a lot of Speed Boost.
Yeah, this is like, you know, it can do pretty decent into Aegislash. I mean, it'll do pretty well into Aegislash, frankly. And I think it honestly does fine into Iron Bundle if you can get up to Speed Boost, or you can get in behind that Shed Tail. But into the rest of this, like, you know, Mega Altaria looks really tough for Blaziken to deal with. Tentacruel looks tough. You know, Terra Dragon Reuniclus can be a problem. Even Gligar, to be honest, looks like it could be pretty decently sturdy into Blaziken. I would say Cabral's, you know, saving grace here is that he does have answers to the answers, right? Like, his team doesn't look terrible into Iron Bundle. He's got resists and immunities in Regice and Vaporeon. Morpeko looks decently splashable into this team, and even if Gligar comes out to try and block an Electric-type Aura Wheel, like, you could still see an Ice Fang or a Rapid Spin or something. And even if Gligar posed an issue to Morpeko's Hazard Control, you could also just switch in Orthworm pretty much infinitely on Gligar. It really has a hard time dealing with it.
Yeah, I think the worst it can do is like knock off whatever Orthworm's holding. That's it.
So Bananas' team looks a little more generalist, a little more splashable, whereas Cabral has answers to stuff, but it all seems like a little isolated, you know? Blaziken's really good into some stuff and really bad into some stuff, you know? Vaporeon's really good into some stuff, but it might be a little too passive into some other stuff. You know, it really just depends on whether we're seeing physical or special Altaria, physical or special Blaziken, you know, what the exact moveset is out of Iron Bundle, if we're trying to see like a defensive setup Reuniclus, or maybe the rare Regenerator, just bulky pivot type. There's a lot of questions, and again, just to stress, like, this is going to be a game where the scouting knowledge is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do we say? We do a bit of scouting and see what we got.
Ooh, tasteful.
Yeah. So immediately, you know, Cabral does not like that matchup against Tentacruel. Probably just doesn't want to get toxic.
I think that's fair, because it is Terra Electric, Regice. You see the taunt, but obviously Gligar is not really keen to stay in to take an Ice Beam. And this time, maybe expecting a flip turn or something, he does just kind of call out the staying in and goes for the Thunderbolt.
Yep.
And then
this time he does switch. Yeah, predicting the Toxic, but yeah.
And Gligar coming out here is kind of interesting because as much as it can't touch Orthworm, it can kind of not be touched by Orthworm meaningfully, so that ends up just kind of being like one layer of spikes.
Yeah, I was about to say, we were talking about like how Gligar can't touch Orthworm, but like all they kind of do to each other is just both set up hazards.
They set up hazards, and also, again, like, you're risking... It depends on how scared of Shed Tail you are, really, if you're Bananas, because, you know, a good Shed Tail, I mean, there's a reason why that is basically banned from OU. You know, it's really, really strong. And certainly, depending on the scenario, it could be better than getting a couple of measly hazards up.
Yeah, true.
But we do see these hazards are putting in work. We do not see a whole lot by way of heavy-duty boots, and this poison and these spikes are just really annoying for Cabral to handle.
Yeah, no, there's not a lot of things he can do against this right now. You know, poison is just stacking up. Thankfully, it's not like badly poisoned, so it's not like adding more and more percentage every time, but like losing, what is it, like 12% per turn is not great.
Yeah, because honestly, those early turns of Toxic are fairly negligible, but, you know, you don't get that luxury with just full-on poison. Like, it's putting the full amount of pressure it's going to put on just off-rip. And we do see, you know, Scald has really not been burning very much. I think we've seen Scald burn more in Aurora versus Claire, though we've seen it burn, like, every other match in this division and in this season. I say division, you know, across the entire thing.
I was about to say, like, that's the most I've seen Scald burn this season, like, since we started.
Yeah, so you see, you know, Aegislash takes a Scald, no burn. I believe this also doesn't burn, so it's just kind of funny to see how little. Now, the Scald burning doesn't really matter if we presume this to be, like, the kind of defensive Magic Guard setup Reuniclus that it basically confirms that it is.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of funny to note, like, man, Scald was really not burning, but Ice Beam really was freezing.
Yep, all the time. That's what we should be running. We should be running Ice Beam.
That's true. It's like Gen 1, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just running ice moves just for the idea that, like, maybe you get a freeze and it just wins.
Yep.
But we are seeing, you know, Bananas is making progress, especially with that side shot crit. Vaporeon is no longer really positioned to handle this, and it was kind of slowly losing anyway. I think best case scenario, you're like maybe slowly getting through recovers and preventing it from setting up a Calm Mind with Haze, but eventually gets through it. Orthworm switches into Orthworm. It also gets poisoned, despite its typing. Interesting.
Yeah, that's so weird.
That's crazy. Cabral pulling off some brand new tech with Orthworm. You know, Nasty Plot Orthworm. Icy Wind Orthworm. Yeah.
Yeah, Cabral's been bringing out some really interesting tech this season. You know, really changing up the game. And wait,
what?
What is that? Hold on. Huh?
Yeah, this is like what's funny is like you kind of draft Zoroark under the impression that like, oh, I'm gonna be so tricky and sneaky. And then it's like, this is the most obvious Zoroark ever. This is, you know, you're not fooling anybody. But, I mean, that's not the point. You're just kind of here to set up sweep, so it's fine.
See, my favorite was actually, I was pretending to be Cabral to help someone scrim, and I was always purposely making it to where Zoroark would transform into Shedinja every single time.
Funny. And that's, like, part of the idea behind the comp. But you see here, actually, this is interesting. So, Banana's kind of scared of getting knocked, actually switches hard out, and we see a Swagger Mirror Herb into an Aura Wheel, and suddenly this actually looks poised to maybe sweep the rest of the team.
Yeah, this does outspeed, but unfortunately we do have Sash on Iron Bundle, and with that it is going to be able to get the revenge.
Yeah. And at this point, it's pretty much over. You know, Banana's opts to just kind of sack this, try to get some damage, maybe a cheeky freeze. Knowing that he can definitely handle Blaziken as long as he keeps the rest of his game pieces topped off. And at this point, Blaziken's not going to be cutting it against every single thing left.
Yeah, and it's a 50-50, you know, you have to predict, like, are they going to Terra or can I click close combat, basically.
Yeah, and ultimately, like, again, even if you get the read right and you crit, it might not even kill anyway, and even if it does kill, suddenly, you know, you've still got two more guys you pretty much have to crit. You know, if you want any chance of winning. And I don't even think there's anything that realistically Blaziken was going to have that was going to be able to break Mega Altaria. So,
no.
Ultimately, yeah, he was really, you know, placing his bets on that sweep with Morpeko, and it was almost there. It looked really good, and had he just at any point put up rocks or something, or spikes or whatever, if he just found that anywhere, or even if he just kind of incidentally chipped the Iron Bundle, I think we would have seen Cabral win this. But ultimately, that is not what happened. That is why, you know, you bring a Sash in the back for stuff like that. And it pays off for Bananas. You know, he manages to stop the Morpeko endgame and manages to close it out with a clean 3-0, advancing into round 2.
Yeah. And I think with that, that is all of our matches. So let's talk about what we can expect to see from top 8.
Yeah, let's mosey on over and have a look at the Week 2 bracket. So what you have to look forward to next week out of playoffs is Scoots versus Black Captain. That's the Portland Palafins versus the Martian Mantines. Basically, I mean, like, I think obviously Black Captain over Chemith is like a bit of an upset, but, you know, I don't think we're surprised at all to see Scoots where he is. Underneath that, we've got Bick of the Blood Moon Bears versus Aurora of the Hoensbroek Haunters. That's one I'm really excited to watch. That's, you know, Bick has really been on a tear, and the only person who's been able to stop him is one of the sort of upper echelon double dip players in Scoots. So I would love to see how he matches up into someone like Aurora, who also has kind of a similar pedigree.
Yeah, absolutely. Meanwhile, on the other side, we've got the Bayou Bellibolts. That's me.
Can't even say his own name.
The Bayou Bellibolts versus Bananas. I'm not looking forward to our match, Bananas. Hey, look, you want to do a homie a favor?
Yeah, realizing in hindsight, it's kind of silly to ask you to introduce your own match, but yeah, that's Bayou Bellibolts versus Bananas, and that's gonna be a fun one to watch. I don't think you guys have ever played, have you?
No, actually we haven't. You know, never mind. I'm excited. I'm excited. You know, handshakes all around.
Handshakes all around. That'll be exciting. And why don't you give me the last one?
Yeah, the last one is going to be the Heerlen Hawluchas, Spoopman, versus the Golden Gate Gibles, Shamal.
Yeah, which
Sand versus Rain. The only Magma and only Skull individuals left, by the way.
I was going to say, this is a very funny looking bracket because it's 3 Aqua versus Rocket matches and then 1 Magma versus Skull.
Yeah.
So almost all of Skull busted out immediately, almost all of Magma busted out immediately. We are left with basically just only Aqua and Rocket players, and so it is only by pure chance that you don't have like a potential all 4 Aqua or all 4 Rocket, you know, top 4 potentially, which would have been very funny.
It would have been hilarious.
So that's really interesting. I think, frankly, the person I'm most surprised to see here, and this is not an insult like at all, I'm genuinely impressed, Shamal. This is a really deep run to make for your very first season. You know, Bick is somebody who I know has like a draft league background, so I was kind of expecting him to go far. I think we seeded him second out of Aqua, which is what he ended up getting. So even though that is also obviously a very impressive run, I wasn't like massively surprised to see him. But like Shamal's holding it down for Skull, man. You're gonna have to, you're gonna have to go the distance because you're the best of us, man. Clearly.
Yep. Your Skull's last hope.
Yep. So, yeah, exciting, huh?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to next week.
Well, I hope all of you at home are excited for next week as well. Thank you very much for joining us. You know, one of us will be here next week to cover it. And Cabral will be joining me on account of us both being doo-doo losers. So,
sorry. Right, I'm sorry.
Right, I'm sorry. So, we'll see you again next week for some more playoffs action. And thank you very much for joining us all for this very long and very unorthodox coverage. And we'll see ya when we see ya.
Bye-bye.